What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast. And we got some product that we're going to talk to you about that is cannot keep it on the shelf, but it is something that you will definitely would want to have on your boat. But let's take care of some business. Lights out on the water, not with FireFly Outdoor Marines. This navigational light blasts bright without eye blindness and attracting bugs. Make sure you are seen with FireFly Outdoor Marines and go to fireflymarine.com. Use discount code DECKTALK10 and make sure you get a little discount on top of that, guys. But that being said, I am Colin Burnett.
I'm Pappy J. Boy, it's good to be back home, but boy, I sure do miss Florida. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, Colin, we had a good time down there. It was hot, it was tiring, but it was fun. I
Yeah.
mean, it was an experience that I can't wait. And Chad, I just want to say thank you, man. If guys like you guys, I mean, we y'all made it happen, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Good deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I tell you one thing though. I mean, uh, I don't really want to. I don't want this to be focused on the on iCast tonight. But because we will definitely do an episode talking about that. But today I want to talk to Chad. About. We've had him come on. I think this is like the fifth time that Chad has come on,
Yeah.
and every time, Chad, that we have you come on, it never ceases to amaze me. The product, you're like, hey, I got something else. Well, look at this. And the product that you put out is top of the line product. And you make it to where, like, it's easy installation, easy to do whatever you got to do with it and be able to use it. And it works phenomenal. But we want to talk about the Firefly torch tonight.
Okay.
So can can you give us a little uh, give us a rundown about the torch?
Well, we certainly have had our stern lights and our bow lights, on a pole, our carbon fiber poles, and we have become well known for our non-blinding light, our refracting plastic, diffused in a way that it is extremely popular. And so we wanted to move into other areas. We wanted to make sure that we were a leader in anything that had to do with lighting in the boat industry, and we certainly we came out with a torch series. This is for a Power Pole Blade, and this is for a Minn Kota Raptor, and we do the Minn Kota Pro and Sportsman 2 and the Talon. Uh, and we wanted to do it. We wanted to cover all models. We weren't interested in doing just the Blade or the Raptors; those seem to be the most popular ones. But we wanted to make sure that everybody was covered, and we worked so hard, and I guess new products are, no matter how how much you use these things for a year and a half before you actually launch them, and we had some things that we went through that, like on our spotlights, this is not the spotlight that we were testing for golly a little over a year with these things. The company that we were using just couldn't produce enough of them, and
Right.
so we're like, okay. So we went in and designed our own light, and with the exception of the lens, the manufacturer said, we're going to put glass in here, and we're like, cool, fine. Uh, Turns out some of them leaked, and we probably had, I don't know, 30 or 50 units would actually leak,
Oh
and
wow.
we were scrambling. We were just about to lose our mind, and so we went in and changed the lens to a solar grade polycarbonate Lexan. I don't know if this one right here. We changed it to solar grade polycarbonate Lexan, which it allowed us to crank this down without breaking it. When the glass was in there, if you crank these things, torque them down enough, it would crack the glass. And I'm like, why would y'all even put that
Really?
in there? So if a rock were to hit this as you're going down the road, it'll just bounce off. It wouldn't crack it. But now it's allowed us to really torque these things down. We've added an additional gasket in here, and and these are all UV resistant and all that kind of good stuff. So as we moved into it, we were correcting things that we normally wouldn't have been in the situation to have to correct them. Had we had this light the whole time, we would have done that in the first year. But we've got it corrected, and we've replaced all of them that's gone bad. And it's unfortunate, but we've got just the best customers that a company could ever imagine. They were so understanding. You're like, well, we get it, but we really want this stuff. We like the stuff you put out, and so we've just worked so hard to make sure that all that was taken care of. And so probably in the last 2.5 months, 2 months, we haven't gotten any calls that we've had any
Heck yeah.
issues. So we're proud of that. And once we did that, then we started taking a look. Okay, now we got to have a convenient way, because these come with 24 foot of 4 core 16 gauge marine wire. And then once you come inside your boat, then you got to run it all the way up the console to get your switch in. So we developed a wireless remote, which we call our Airwolf. And so when you come in from your shallow water anchors and you get into the back of the boat in your bilge area, that's as far as you go. Uh,
Wow.
this is all waterproof, Bluetooth. Uh, your hot and black wire from your battery goes here. Your hot and your negative wire from your torch goes here, which will be your yellow and your red wire. Yellow is your ground, and red is your hot. And then you just use the little remotes, and we put some really very expensive heavy duty 3M tape on here, and I actually stuck my remote right in the middle of my steering wheel, and then I put the other one on the bow because it comes with two. Also come with a inline 10 amp fuse with the 10 amp fuse in it. Comes with you got connectors. So we provide all that stuff. But what's really cool is I can hit A and it'll turn these spotlights on, and they'll stay on till I hit A again. Then they'll go off. But what's really cool is we made B programmable. And it can go anywhere from 5 seconds to 20 seconds. Now, I've got mine on my boat set at 5 seconds because you don't really realize how far you can travel in 5 seconds, and you see everything you need to see. So we've pre-programmed them all for 5 seconds, but it has an instructional sheet that'll come in that'll tell you how to go further distance if you want. But when I hit B, it comes on and it stays on for 5 seconds and it shuts itself off again. So I don't have to find the switch or anything. I just hit B and I'm driving, looking for
Oh
floaters
heck
or
yeah.
anything, and then it just goes off by itself. So this right here is probably one of the absolute best things that we did for these torch units, and it saves guys all this trying to run this wire all the way to the console, putting in a switch, which we send a switch with it. It's an on-off momentary switch, or if you've got an accessory switch, you can wire it into there. But this way, this is done. You can literally install this and run it to the back, and install this and be done in 20 minutes. You're done. I mean,
Oh
it's
heck
it's
yeah.
that easy. And then after that, then we came out with this one, and this was something that was this was something else. This thing is incredible. There are guys that have shallow water anchors, and there are guys that do not have shallow water anchors. But there are also guys that have shallow water anchors that really don't want to put a light on their anchor. They don't want something else to be back there to take a chance to go wrong. So what we did was we provided a pole, and it is extremely beefed up pole. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you a cross section of the pole itself, and how unbelievable stout it is. But so now you can put a 3-prong base in the back, and you can have your pole and your stern light base. Just put a 3-pin base in, and you can have your nav light and spotlights. You can have the wireless remote system for it. It runs the torches and the Nighthawk. It has it's incredible. This when you attach these torch units to your shallow water anchors, or if you put this one in, this Nighthawk is about a half or 3/4 inches taller than this is on your shallow water anchor. But to tell you how, carbon fiber is so strong, and that everything we do is in carbon fiber, and there's a reason for it, and we're known for it, and but it can be really thin and be extraordinarily strong and flexible at the same time. But
Yeah.
when we built this has so much, it's got the spotlights up there, the whole 9 yards. We didn't want it to flex, because if you're running down the lake and you need your spotlights, you don't want that flex. You're gonna be shooting your spotlights up into the sky. So this is a cross section, or a piece of the pole. But I want you to look at the inside. Look how
Oh
solid
wow.
that is.
Oh yeah.
That is solid carbon fiber. You literally,
Oh wow.
and I've got to post it, and I did it a while back. We put this pole, this big pole right here, 50, 52, 53 inches long, and we put it between two trees, and we hooked a strap to it and hooked it to the back of my Chevy truck. I've got a trail boss, but in diesel 4-wheel drive, and I was going downhill, and I could not even bend, couldn't even begin to flex it, and it was holding my whole truck. It never broke, never bent, never
Oh
nothing.
my.
Oh heck yeah.
But then what we did is I'm gonna feed it in from this side so you can see. This hole is just big enough for this 4-core 16 gauge wire. It's just big enough for us to put the whole housing in there. So we
Heck yeah.
we went to a whole lot of trouble and spent so much time making sure that we thought about everything that could possibly go wrong. But for guys that are in aluminum boats, guys that are in big, $150,000 bass boats, or if you've got a kayak, it's a absolute no brainer, because you get the same effects as this in this if you don't have shallow water anchors, or if you got a kayak, or you don't want anything on your shallow water anchors. So this thing we can't build them hardly fast enough.
Yeah. Well, we got a question says, will the one that's on the pole fit into your shore stacker?
No. Well, that's not true. Yes and no. Uh, I can put. Let's see here. Let me let me see if I can answer this. We put a 2-pin base in here, and we can put a 3-pin base in here. Matter of fact, and this is the round. Here's a round Atwood base, and instead of putting this 2-pin in, I can put a 3-pin in its place. Um, I would have to wire, because this has got a on-off switch here, so you can turn your lights on and off.
Mhm.
I can reconfigure how I'm wire the switch to accommodate the spotlights, and you still can run it from a drill battery, because it still operates on 12 volt.
Right.
Matter of fact, they run anywhere from 12 to 30, or 10 to 30 volts. So you can you can use it in that. You would just have to let me know, hey, I want to get a short stacker with a Nighthawk. Can you wire in the 3-prong base instead of the 2-prong? And we certainly will do that for them.
Oh heck yeah.
It wouldn't cost them any more for us to do it.
Yeah,
We
you
have
just
to
need to
know.
know in advance to be able
Yeah.
to build it.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Because
Yeah,
that
That
way,
that's
if you're on the bank, or if you're fishing from a bank or surf fishing, uh, you can not only have the nav light for light out there, but you can have spotlights if you're casting way out there fishing, and you need to throw some light on something. You certainly can.
that's what Chris said. Is that he says I bank fish uh, below Percy Priest Dam. It'd be nice to be able to spotlight out to where I'm throwing.
Oh yeah,
So,
there's no question that would be cool.
yeah.
And I actually know where he's talking about. Um, there's and then we have our SL4, which this thing is, you can see about 420 yards with this thing. This is what you see mostly on the front of boats
Right.
and stuff. But that SL4 is credible. But you know. For the caller that came in and asked about the shore stacker, the I would absolutely if you get that, I would absolutely love some pictures of that, because that's pretty cool. And I understand if you're casting way out there, to shine some light on it so you can see your line all the way through there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the thing is, so Chad, you showed us some videos when all this was still kind of being prototyped, and Pappy and I were blown away, like how much light that those little lights put out. I mean, the navigational light does, when I'm talking about your stern lights, and I tell people that it's bright, but it's not blind, and they don't understand. But I tell them, like, you could literally go down the bank. I've gone down the bank personally, and you can literally just go down and start counting rocks, or you can pick out details and stuff that's on the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, just like, and in which you've told us this from the get-go, it's like the navigational lights is like fishing underneath a full moon.
Yeah.
And and that's the best description that I have ever been able.
Yeah.
And I've done videos, and I had done a video that I'm working on editing, about uh, the bow and stern light, and like you could see behind me, you could see, because of course I've done it at nighttime and stuff, but you could see the leaves and the branches and stuff with it. But then you see the video, and I meant to have you send that to me to where I could play it, but the video, y'all pulled into this slough and turned it on, and this house was what, 300-400 yards away, and like it just spotlighted the whole
Yeah.
thing.
We were fishing a tournament, and where we were putting in, probably, I don't know, it was probably 250 to 300 yards away. The ramp came down, and then behind it over here, about 300 yards away, there was a kind of uh, a peninsula or island that came
Right.
out so far, and we were all just floating in the water, and there was probably, I don't know, 15, 20 boats sitting there in that one section, and somebody hollered, "Hey Chad, turn them lights on, let's see how bright they are." It didn't cross my mind that was even there. Matter of fact, it was so pitch dark you couldn't see it anyway. And I hit them lights, and it lit up
Oh,
300 yards away. It lit up that whole place, and there was a house in there on there.
yeah.
You saw their boat dock, you saw their two boats, you saw their jet skis, you saw there was one of those things you stand on and paddleboard thing. It was leaned up against there. You could see flower pots in the windows and on the back porch, and every window in the back of that house was just flooded. And somebody said, "Oh my gosh, turn it off! They're gonna think Jesus just come back." It was so
Well,
funny. Everybody was laughing. I'm like, I had no earthly doubt that house was even there, but it was
yeah.
about 3:45 in the morning, and I promise you, if everybody was asleep, their room was lit up.
Well,
Uh,
first thing I thought of is you should have had a megaphone saying, "This is the police. Come out."
yeah, that was everybody got a kick out of it, but so it's been, and I've been fishing, and some guys are like, "Hey, Chad, are you going down to the south end?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm running down there," and they're like, can we run behind you, because it had just rained a whole lot, and there were some floaters in thing. They said, can we pull in behind you and just follow you? We're going to cut off before you are, but at least we can get there and not have to run over anything, because he didn't all he had was
Yeah.
just a regular light, stern light, and it wasn't E. Myers, and it was pitiful. Lord, you couldn't, I mean, a cigarette would have been brighter than that thing, but
Oh man.
uh,
Wow.
but so he followed us, and I think there was 4 or 5 of them that followed us all the way down, because we had all of our SL4s and our torch units. Because these little things right here are 750 lumens a piece, so you got 1,500 lumens between these, and then if you run an SL4 up front, that's 3,000 lumens,
3,000.
and
Yeah.
all these are like 6K, 6,000K brightness. So it is. Uh, but with all of this off, this right here, the people trying to understand refracted plastic, and it diffused in a way. And we had, I was looking to see if I had a bucket for, I mean, we even made our own special bulb inside that actually worked. And it took about 10 months to figure out the right bulb combination, and we had to change some things. We fluted it, we put heat shrink in it to help it, but it's 350 lumens, and all the Coast Guard requires is 4.7 candlewatts of power, which is equivalent to 50 lumens, and this is 350 lumens. But you can literally get this close to it, stare at it for 10 minutes, and turn around, and you can count the individual leaves on the trees, on the banks.
It-
You don't lose your night
That's
vision.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
yeah, because I took a buddy of mine out on Old Hickory Lake,
Mm-hmm.
and he was surprised because I tried to get him to fish from the front of the boat with me,
Mm-hmm.
but he really he was not. I mean, he's not really used to fishing up front with somebody, and
Sure.
it was nighttime, and so he said, "I just rather feel comfortable in the back." I said, "That's fine," and after about, I guess probably about 20 minutes after I had it had gotten dark enough to where I had to turn the lights on, and he had said, he's like, I cannot believe he's like, I've gone out in his dad's boat and stuff, and he said, when like whatever like on that right side of the boat, he says, if we're fishing that right side, he said, after a while, like he said, you kind of, your right eye kind of gets blinded by the light that comes with it. And I was like, I said, yeah. And he says, what kind of light? And I told him, and because he was able to like go from casting, and then he went to retie and was able to retie all right there without kind of hesitating. And it didn't
Wow.
take him much time to be able, and he was like, this is phenomenal. And I was like, I said, man, it's the globe that's on there. I said they worked on that I said for like 7, 8 years to be able to
It
get it
it
dialed
it
in, and
it took. I always tell everybody it took me and 6 engineers, but really took 6 engineers, and but I like to throw myself in there, but
And
but
as you
yeah,
yeah,
should.
you should.
but it took them 3.5 years to develop this, and I've said it so many times that I didn't know we were going to make it to market because this thing was it's so complicated, and so we that's why we have patents. That I mean navigation lights been around for forever, but since 1932. Um, Nothing had ever changed until we came up with our new navigation light, and that's why we're the only ones in the United States that hold full patents on nav lights. So the but just because they're so different, we corrected so many things, and so yeah, I mean that's what it's built for. I mean, because you certainly you don't need a nav light in the daytime. so
No, no.
we wanted to make sure because I'm probably there's probably not a human being alive that despises a nav light as much as I do, and so that's why we set out to fix it. And there was a lot of different things that we had to fix, and when we start seeing comments, somebody made a comment online the other day, and I thought, if I could get a hold of them and tell them thank you. Uh, Guy said, I've got a nice bass boat, brand new. He said. If I had to list a must have inside of any boat, the number one on the list would be a FireFly light. And I thought, and he was just talking to, I just saw it on a forum, and I'm like, well, how cool is that? I mean, as a manufacturer, it just doesn't get any better than that. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always fun to hear that. And then it's fun when I get to talk to some of the customers and which I don't get to do a whole lot of, but when they call me and we can sit down and talk a while. It's just, man, we got some of the best customers in the world, and they just they believe in the product. We're so blessed and thankful because they support us, and they enjoy talking about it. And we've got we keep innovating and come up with cool stuff. And I will tell everybody this, and I'll tell you right now, we're coming up with something that's absolutely insane, and I can't tell you what it is, but it hopefully it won't take too awful long. We got to do some more testing with it because we're going to apply some additional features to it that makes it more versatile. Between boat manufacturers, because some bows sit up high and some sit down low.
yeah.
Like I've got a Falcon Predator, and it sits real low and real flat in the water. And then if you I know Vexes, their bow sits a lot higher, and so we want to have the flexibility to adjust things based on how your type of boat is built. So and it's never been done before, and so we're looking forward to that.
Well, Chad,
Now,
I got one thing, and I know there's a lot of people out there that know who you are, know what your product is, and but just for those that may not know, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to Firefly? Just your little bit of history, just so people out
um,
there who may not know.
sure. They I, back when I was 17, I was fishing with Craig Powers. People nowadays know him as CP. We go back way back, and we talk all the time. And he's he fished on the FLW tour for 13, 14 years. Extremely, extremely successful. Retired, and still fishes a lot of local tournaments and wins lots of boats. He's just he's unreal, and just a very dear friend of mine. And Craig taught me a lot of what I know about fishing, and certainly planted that fire for fishing. And then over the years, you have partners and they're hanging their socks on the light, or they're hanging their Coca Cola bottles, or just anything. Put some electrical tape over light, because I mean they're always awful in the way. And so one year, we at the glass plant we made a telescoping camouflage crappie cane pole, and it telescoped three times, and it was just made cane. It was camouflaged, and so we put an oil reel bottle. We squeezed all the oil out of it, and back then they were oval. They weren't just round. They were just kind of oval, and kind of like Elmer's glue bottle. And we siliconed a condensate bulb in it, put a drill hole in the lid and put it down on there, and then screwed the top on there. And back in the day, they didn't have prongs in the bases of nav lights. It just had two brass humps. Same thing, it was same thing on the bottom of your pole. So we fixed it, and the game wardens and stuff at Watauga, they said, yeah, we don't have a problem with that. That's all pretty cool. So I thought about it every year for probably close to 35 years. And I would, as time goes on, substrates, like carbon fiber, and some of that stuff didn't exist, 35, 40 years ago, or it did, but it was very, very
Yeah.
expensive and is something, so products change. So I one day got to thinking about it like I did every year, but this time I just, for some reason, and I think it was the Lord talking to me. It was just I couldn't let it go. I kept thinking about it, kept thinking about it, kept thinking about it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to see what I can do, and that's how we kind of started Firefly, and started it in my 14 by 20 shed out back, and got me seven poles, and they were too small, so I had to go a little bit bigger. And we just kind of um, follow the Lord through the whole thing, and just let Him lead us, and we just, so I mean, I'm having a blast. I mean, this is fun. And I've gotten to meet so many cool people. But there's nothing. I'm not some big engineer. I'm not some. Um, I'm just a regular old fella, and that just was too stupid to say. Yeah, I think this is a bit too much. I just kept on going with it. Uh, so it just we keep coming up with some ideas, and then we dive in eyeball deep, and until we get it, we just don't kind of take no for an answer. So we just keep plugging away.
Heck yeah.
And that's what it takes. And and the cool thing is it's just not the lights that you have either. I mean, you also have rain gear that you got that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, it just got a whole lot more awesome.
Uh
Um,
oh.
yeah.
Uh
Well, we've been working on our Mizu foul weather gear and our tep suits for probably about 4 years, and
Hmm.
the last ones worked great. I was not pleased with the front zipper when we were dealing with the manufacturer, because you got to understand, it took me a long time to design what I wanted, and
Right.
then because we're not a manufacturer that has you know 200,000 square foot building with 300
Right.
people running around in there building stuff. I mean, we just
Yeah.
we build it right here. But as far as our tep suits and our Mizu foul weather gear, we have a manufacturer actually make them for us by our design.
Right.
And so They said, yeah, all the, because I repeated it 5 million times. All the zippers are waterproof. Yes, 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 yes. Well, guess what? They weren't. And I just about trashed the whole thing. I was so discouraged, so disheartened, and I thought, well, I maybe I need to find a different manufacturer, and so I did, and I spent a lot of time developing a relationship with these people before I pulled the trigger on anything, and they understood everything that happened. I sent them, products so they could see it, and they're like, yeah, this ain't gonna work, and I'm like, here's what I want, and so now, like in our bibs of our Mizu foul weather gear, all the zippers down the legs and everything are waterproof. But there's also a double flap underneath that. But here's the cool thing: when you put your legs down in it, you put it into an entirely one-piece neoprene sleeve, and then the outer shell's on the outside of it. So it would have to go through waterproof zipper, double flaps, and a pure 100% neoprene that's unobstructed with
Heck
no
yeah.
sew marks in it to even get a drop of water on you. The zipper that's just on the front of the jacket, the other ones are they got rubber waxed in, where you kind of your zipper looks like it's cutting the wax when it goes down through there.
Right.
But the main zipper, that one zipper alone cost Firefly $75 for this one zipper. That was
Sure.
our cost. I mean, it's that kind of zipper. So,
Yeah.
and then on our Mizu foul weather gear, those things were 5 millimeter. So what I found, as far as for me, is when you're fishing, you got your hand bent and you're going. Well, that's 5 millimeters on this side of your elbow and 5 millimeters on this side, and it's coming together. Well, that's 10 millimeters. Well, my elbow in the middle. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old or what. Man, that thing would be sore to the touch. I couldn't hardly stand to just. It just killed me to think to have to make another cast.
Hmm.
So what we did is we took it from 5 millimeters to 3 millimeters, and then we took the sleeves completely out of it. And then we, instead of coming up all the way around, tight around your neck, this thing comes down here just a little bit, and the zipper goes straight. It's a two-way zipper, but we put much higher quality neoprene to start with. So this 3 millimeter neoprene is actually warmer than that 5 millimeter and is much more flexible and much more usable. But then we put a much higher grade thermo insulation on the inside, the whole suit. Even our Mizu foul weather gear is full insulated in there inside neoprene. And I'm telling you, this, I am so excited. This is the first year that I have been over the top, and we're fixing to do a video, a full video on how to properly wear it, how to put it on, how to layer it, so that, because what you got to understand is there's no more going to the boat ramps in the wintertime in January and February and having all the clothes in your closet on to try to stay warm. There is no more of that. And
Yeah.
everything holds tight. Everything, you're not hanging off of you. You're wearing it. And so
Yeah.
we have y'all are just not gonna believe the tep suit. It's just insane. And the foul weather gear. I literally, we've got. It was so funny because we got a lot of water pressure here at the house. But I got my neighbor. I said, "Look, hook this hose up here, run it over here," and it was one of them big round hoses. And I had him and my wife hosing me. I'm talking about pouring, hosing me down for over 45 minutes, and I never got a single drop, not a single drop of water. And I didn't put the Mizu foul or the Tep suit underneath. It was just the Mizu. Not one drop did I get on me. And so, look, I'm so excited about it because we're not going to do summertime rain gear. And the reason being, you've got AFCO, you've got Hook, you've got um,
Yeah.
uh, all these companies, Striker, you've got all
Sims.
these
Yeah.
companies that there's
Frog
no way
dog
I can
and all that.
compete with those
Yep.
No.
guys with with those suits. But a fall winter suit.
Come
Yeah,
on.
I'll hang
Yeah.
with you all day long. But
Yeah. Well, and
You get me all excited and pumped up
well,
now.
listen,
well, and
it's
the thing
unreal.
is, Chad, we, and what we deliver, and Pappy and I are on the same truck. We deliver Little Debbie's and stuff. We had this past winter was in 13-degree weather with 22 inches of snow,
Phew.
and up in Indiana, I had the Tep suit on, and after
He did.
the first stop, I think we had maybe 5 or 6 doors, but after about the second door, I had to unzip that thing, and that's all I had on was just that, and it was just boiling, just steam just coming out,
I bet.
and
Yep.
and Pappy, he was like, man, he's like, are you all right? And I said, this thing right here, I said, I have been out, and I said, I've been in like 20-degree weather out on the water and stuff, and I said, I understand that we were moving, we were unloading
Yeah.
Little Debbie's, and my body was producing heat and stuff. I said, but I said it's all I could do to be able to just stay cool. And I mean, the rest of the day, I just had that sucker unzipped
Unzipped.
and I was fine. But once I had that sucker zipped up, it was so, it made it so comfortable because, again, just like what you said, I didn't have everything in my closet on just to stay warm.
It's like a compression sock. So at the end of the day, you know, one, your muscles are tense because it's freezing cold outside,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
you're having to cast, and it's 10 hours that you're out there in a tournament, and you're just like, oh my goodness. So by the time you get to the weigh-in, you're tired, you're tense, you've been cold all day long, you couldn't shake it. And so now what I find is I come in and I take this stuff off, and man, I feel good.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm 60, you know, and or almost 60. I'll be 60 at the end of the year. And I feel perfectly fine. And so, you know, if you're going to wear a tep suit, if you're on the front bow of a boat, if you're on a snowmobile, a four wheeler, a side by side, if you're in a tree stand and you want to go for an all day sit in the middle of the winter and still have full flexibility of movement because you don't have all the sleeves, you don't have anything hindering you. And here's the cool thing, guys, y'all are going to really like this. We made the shoulders not in one piece. It has a strap that comes over and it hooks three different layers
Oh
of
yeah.
Velcro. So if I've got it cinched down real tight and it's starting to make my shoulder, I just back it off and have much more flexibility, range of motion. So you can cinch it down to however you like it, or loosen it however you like it. I mean, we really thought of everything on this, and I am so excited because you know, like I say, the people going deer hunting, bow hunting, jet skiing, or not jet skiing. If you're going snowmobile skiing, side by side four wheeler in the winter, playing in the snow. And here's the cool thing: I can put it underneath my jeans and a hoodie, and you have no earthly idea that I even have
Yeah.
it on. And I'm going to be sitting in the stands just as toasty warm as I can be. So, but we're going to be doing a full video on the proper way to put it on, things to look for when you do put it on, and how I wear a full setup because you know you were talking about being outside when I was 20, and I've told this story I don't know how many times, but we were on a river system and I took off. It was 17 degrees outside, um, and I had a 22-mile run, and I was running about 72, 73 miles an hour at 17 degrees on the water.
Mm.
And I got to my spot and I was horse laughing the whole time because I never felt anything. I felt the wind pressure, the
Yeah.
pressure of
Hmm.
the wind, never felt any cold. I got done, I dumped my trolling motor and I went to fishing and I was horse laughing the whole time because I was just as toasty warm as I could be. And I'm actually a cold natured person. I like to be warm, and so
I'm right
uh,
there with you.
and I've got some guys that be out there at 17 degrees in shorts, and I'm like, you're just something wrong with you, because I'm not one. Are you one of those, Pappy? Because I'm not
Yeah.
one of those guys. And so I wanted to have something that I could go out and enjoy it, and not have to think about it. And man, we have. I'm telling you, I cannot wait. We're supposed to have the full load of everything in the first week or two of August, and you're going to start next month, and you're going to start seeing a lot of ad spray. You're going to see a lot of us spending time talking about it because it's just that exceptional. And what's really cool, you know, this is not a flotation device. I have to say that by law. But neoprene is naturally buoyant. You if it's just all us guys getting together, you're pretty much gonna float,
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
not a safety device, so don't
Right.
treat it as
Right.
such. But I'm just telling you, if I fall in the water with this tep suit and neoprene suit, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna change my socks and shoes and my hat and my hoodie, and and then I'm gonna go back to fishing. I'm not going to the hospital for hypothermia. I
Hmm.
promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. We're so excited about it. I can't wait. And like I said, we'll be doing that video here shortly, and we've got everything ready. So I'm super stoked.
I
And
can't wait either. I mean, cause see here, and a lot of problem with me is, well, like when I'm walking to the stand, I'll walk to the stand in a pair of shorts and maybe a long sleeve shirt, but I'll carry
Right,
my bibs or whatever in because I don't want to sweat. S-
right.
I've learned that if I walk in with less clothes on,
Oh yeah,
to the stand, then I'll gear up when I get there, and then kind of cuts down all the sweating. But
sure.
um, you know,
And, and
it's
here's
kind of
something else to think about, Pappy, when you're talking about going to stand. Do you know that neoprene is scent proof? I did
really.
not know that. I got
didn't
a
know that.
full
No, I
education
did
from this
not.
company, but it has no odor to it. And
We
if
need to
you're
talk.
completely enclosed in it, it's trapping your odor. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I found out more uses or more
Yeah.
benefits to having neoprene. Now, I will say this: I actually talked to the president of the company. At least I was told that's who he was.
Right.
At Stryker at ICAST probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I said, I've got two of your neoprene suits. I've got two sets of them, and he
Hmm.
said, we don't have neoprene suit. I said, oh yeah, you do. I got two of them, and I mean that's. He said that's not neoprene. That is a different type of material. He said we don't have a neoprene. So as far as I know, which still floors me because it certainly looks like neoprene, but he said it's not. We're the only one that's got a neoprene suit, and I'm telling you,
Hmm.
guys, it is
Hmm.
absolutely
That's a
in.
game changer right there.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you
That
just
is
can't
a game changer.
imagine. So the other ones, the other suit was really really good. This one is going to be less, but yet a whole lot more. And the more I put it on and test things out, I fell in love with it. I'm like, these guys and gals are going. And listen, the tep suit has got a two-way zipper on it, just like your Mizu foul weather gear, your bibs in your foul weather gear.
Mhm.
So when you got to go to the bathroom while you're out fishing or hunting or something, I mean, I hope you got a Coke bottle when you're hunting, but you can go. It's no problem. And
Mhm.
ladies, here's what's cool. Which my wife, when we get out backpacking and we get out stuff, she's got a pea style, and so uh, you can be on a boat or anywhere, and if you've got a P style, because we got the two-way zippers, you're not you're not having to take stuff off and not only expose yourself to the cold, but expose yourself to everybody else, or hope somebody don't walk around the corner over top of the ridge and see you. But you're not going to have to be cold. So this is actually friendly for women to wear. And I would just recommend you get a P style because it's not like you're gonna come out of this thing flying in a hurry.
Nah, nah.
So
And I can contest being in a tree stand all day long doing an all day sit.
yeah,
That matters.
yeah, it
That
does.
matters.
And
That is
so
huge.
yeah, it is. And so, I've spent a many hours in a tree stand, and some of them miserable because I just had to go, and they just,
Yep.
I didn't want a chance on blowing this place up. So,
Yep.
um, so yeah, I mean, there is so many things that Firefly has been blessed with over the last 7 years of product lines that we've come out with, and every time we come out one, I get so doggone excited because we put so much into it, and I can see how much difference it actually
Yeah.
makes from what's
Yeah.
out there. And this tep suit and Mizu foul weather gear is no exception. I am absolute. Matter of fact, I told my wife, I said I am ready for it to get cold. She said, "Hush your mouth," because we're here in Alabama, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll wear shorts at Christmas time, but
Right.
and I'm
Right.
like, no, I'm ready for it to get cold. I said, I can't
Yeah.
wait to have this system on. I said, I'm just going to enjoy things so much more in the wintertime when I'm fishing and hunting. So, yeah, it's going to be cool.
Well, I
I
know,
can't wait either. I can't wait. I'm
and I
excited for
know
you,
that
bro.
with, I mean, and I've had, I've had the suit. What this is the third year that I've had it, Chad.
Probably,
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, and I in the wintertime and stuff. I mean, people ask, "Do we fish all year round?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, we fish all year
Yeah,
round."
yeah.
I mean,
That's the
but
best scoping time in the world's in the fall and the winter. It's the
eh,
best scoping time ever.
usually though when it gets cold, my dad usually comes around and says, "Hey, let's do some crappie fishing."
Yeah,
And so, and usually just with when you're bass fishing, you can kind of stay a little bit more active.
yeah,
When it's crappie fishing, you just got that little crappie jig on,
yeah.
and I mean, and it just gets you get bone chilled, and but I mean, it's phenomenal. I've been to where I've had snow on the deck of the boat, and
It,
been
you,
to where you've had to dip the rod into the water to be able to thaw out the eyes on
oh
the
yeah,
and
yeah. But
and I just
it's funny. You've had that tip suit on, but I'm telling you, this other one doesn't have the sleeves in it,
I
and the
can
neck
only
is
imagine.
more open. It's not right up on you, but you're gonna have so much more flexibility. You're gonna be so much more warmer without being constrained at all. Listen, I'm telling you something. If you think you enjoyed those, and I did, I enjoyed
Oh,
those
I
other ones.
enjoy it.
Those other ones just don't hold a light to what we've been able to produce with this new tip suit. It's insane.
Well, I know I
See,
may
that's
have to.
and that would be that's something that would be more geared towards me because I would like the bib side of it
Yeah,
to where I can still pull back
yeah.
my bow and
You
not
still go.
feel, and
It
still
it
have that flexibility and
it
everything.
it has so many. It has. I mean, guys, everybody listening. The cool thing about when you purchase something like that for outdoors,
Yeah.
if you bought something and this is the only time you can use it, and this is the
Hmm.
only way you can use it, the cool thing about it is you can wear it fishing, you can wear it in the stands, you can wear it on your
Hmm.
snowmobile, you can wear it on
Yep.
your side by side, you can
Yep.
wear it to the football game in the wintertime, state championship. By that time, it's starting to really get cold.
Hmm.
There is so many things you can use this for. It's not just for when I only go fishing or whatever it is. You have multiple uses for it, and it's just I love when I can find something like that that I can
Oh
still
yeah.
use for a lot of different things. So yeah,
Well,
You got me
we're
pumped up.
almost we're almost at an hour, brother,
Okay.
and so I want to ask you. Um, uh, well, what we have. Well, I want to ask you another question. Then we have the question that we always ask,
Okay.
and you've answered it. Again, this is the fourth or fifth time that, and so, but for people that may not have heard about FireFly, what is, because in my mind, I know, like when I think of FireFly, it's not just, the lights or anything like that. I mean, for me, when I hear FireFly or I'm talking about FireFly, it's about the quality.
Hmm.
I mean, because could you have done some of the product with cheaper end material to be able to kind of help out your cost out on it, of course, but you have gone out and you've tested this product and you've made it to where I mean I've to where the, like, let's say the lights and stuff, I mean I've had them in the boat, I use them all the time, and I've taken them down to where I've hit trees coming with my with the stern light, and they just keep on. And the abuse and stuff that I mean, I really shouldn't say this. Well, I mean maybe it is, but I mean I have used and abused the equipment, but they still stand and
Right.
they hold out above any other things. Like if I was to done uh, any other equipment the way that I have done the FireFly, I would be purchasing another one.
Right.
But in your mind, what is it that with FireFly that makes that you want people to know about FireFly, that may not have heard of FireFly?
Uh, well, I mean, let me tell you how we think of things. This is not about me. This is not about Firefly. This is about you.
Yeah,
And if you're going to choose us, that you're going to spend your hard-earned money, that you maybe work some overtime, or I mean, you just in a really hard job that you have as a career, or one that's, even if you're a doctor and you're spending 110 hours a week at the hospital and not go home for 4 or 5 days. There's a firefighter. I mean, there's just a lot of different things. Um, you chose to spend some of that money with Firefly, and we made all of our products, everything that we design, everything we sell. We made it for you, and we want it to be there, and we want it to be there for a long time.
yeah,
And so we overbuild stuff, and it cost us a little more to do that. But when we hear people say, there's a lot of things you can get for your boat, or you can get for whatever, but this is your number one must have. That I mean, that was really cool, and it was really kind of somebody to say. And in order for them to say that, they somebody's not going to make a comment like that if it's just a regular stern light. You can go buy them at Walmart, anywhere. I mean, you just buy a little old, $30 stern light, and you'll be legal. But you wouldn't make that kind of comment if what you had experienced was far more than what you ever thought it could have been,
yeah,
and and the performance was far more than what it cost. In other words, if you spent $160 on a nav light, but you felt like you got $500 worth of performance out there that just was beyond your expectations, you're going to say something about it. And
yeah,
so we just feel like that
Yep.
that we really work out of Joe's lunchbox, and we try to price these things that, and then we try to just absolutely back this up with impeccable customer service, because there's nothing worse. I mean, okay, say you got this Nighthawk, and say you got it for $59.95. You're like, man, I got all that for $59.95, and something goes wrong with it, and you can't get a hold of anybody. They don't want to help. Even when they answer, they act like it's a nuisance that, hey, we don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you.
Oh,
You just have to go buy you another one. Listen, the customer service side of it is almost more important to us than the product itself. We
yeah.
Yeah.
have to be there for them. Somebody made a
Yeah.
comment on the post the other day and said, they don't have good customer service. I've emailed them 2 or 3 times, and man, I spent the next 2.5 hours going through. There's nothing there. I mean, because everybody that has ever had a need to call me for whatever the situation is, they got a question about something, or um, a man and his son called me and they said, "Hey, look, we just got a light from you, but we're gonna need another one." And I said, "You just got it. What happened?" He said, "Well, we were in a fishing tournament, and my son is 9 years old, and he just wanted to fish a tournament. So I told him, doggone it, me and you going to fish the tournament, we're going to try to win it." And I asked him to put the stern light up when we got to where we were going. He said, I slid it in. He slid it in, and the door was just past the light. It was sticking out, because about the time he's sticking in there, his dad caught a fish. They got it up to the boat, and his dad pulled it up, and it was like a 5.5 pounder. He was so excited, he was jumping up and down on that lid, and it was the light wasn't all the way inside; it was sticking out,
Ah,
and
Yeah.
he busted it. He said we hadn't used it maybe an hour while we were floating out there waiting for them to let us go. He said 1 hour on it, and I said don't you worry about it. So I sent him another one, just gave it to him, because it was more important. I felt like him being out there on the water with his son making memories was far more important than that one light. I had much rather them have the light than me say, well, yeah, you just have to order another one. To me, I God just didn't make me that way. I'm just
yeah.
not cold like that, and so I wrote a little letter to the boy. Don't you worry about the light. You keep fishing. You just keep fishing. Have fun with your dad. And so those kind of things, that just means more to me than the money. We keep making the products. That kind of stuff will take care of itself. I want the relationships. I want to spend time with the people. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, Pappy, let's do this because I know um, Chad's has got something that he's got to get to. Um, but real quick, you want to do our salute to valor real quick?
Well, let's just real quick. I like to get everybody to if let's keep our men and women that are overseas right now deployed, and keep them guys in your prayers, thoughts and prayers, because there's some stuff going over there. I've got some skin in the game myself. It's been kind of stressful, but y'all just remember them, and let's just keep them in our thoughts and prayers, because
absolutely,
they need us. They need us over here just as bad as we need them.
absolutely,
Yep. So, but also, guys, go to decktalkpodcast.com, and on the home page, if you scroll down, probably about 3/4 of the way down, it's going to say "Salute to Valor." If you have somebody, or you are a veteran or currently serving, and we would love to honor them and recognize them, if you will fill out the little questions that we have on there, and it will automatically email those your answers strictly to Pappy, and then we will honor whoever it is. But we want to thank everybody. Um, but real quick, Dennis Crenshaw with Lake Placid Freshwater Charter and Guide said, "Hi, Chad.
Yeah.
Lake Placid Freshwater Charter and Guide is still utilizing your lights." And
Yeah,
so
Dennis, he's a good one. I met him at ICAST probably 4 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah.
And the super nice guy, has a lot of people that calls on him to guide out on Lake Placid, and does a lot of crappie fishing out there. Super nice guy. He's really nice, and I got to enjoy meeting him, and just like y'all, I always appreciate Deck Talk podcast for having me on, and having the friendships and relationships we've got. I appreciate you guys.
Well,
We
we
appreciate you.
appreciate you, and I tell you one thing, I'm excited for August to come around,
Yeah.
just so we could talk about some of the new foul
Yes,
weather
sir.
gear.
Yes, sir.
Not because I'm ready for it to get cold. By no means, I'm loving this heat, but Chad, thank you so much. We deeply appreciate it, and I hope that everybody that is watching will go to Facebook, all the social media. I'm going to put the links to FireFly in the description, and click on it, start following, and subscribe to him. Send him a message saying, "Hey, we've seen you on Deck Talk Podcast." But most of all, go to fireflymarine.com and put in the discount code DeckTalk10, and just go out and enjoy your time fishing, or out if you get the Mizu suit, out in the outdoors in general. But Chad, man, we deeply appreciate it. We hope that you have safe journeys on your
Thank you.
on your trip. And so, but guys, we will see you next week, and hope that you have a blessed one. And remember, guys, God loves you as if you're the only person in this world to love. And we
That's
will see
right.
you next week.
See you.